Afternoon, Robert. Firstly, just to kick off, can we get team news ahead of Sunday, please?
No new injuries, and Charlie Grant is back to training as well, so it's only the two suspensions with Drew and Evelina that is new from last week.
Obviously, another defeat at the weekend. It's no easy way to say it. It's a tough time for the club at the moment. Is there still this belief from yourself and the players and the staff and everyone that you can turn it around? Obviously, only 3 games left this season, but I imagine you want to kind of get this kind of defeat record kind of off your back.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of trying to get some good energy into the last 3 games and get some result to fix the bigger thing where we need to improve and make sure we take the right decisions. Is obviously for the next season. It's hard to fix everything that's been going wrong this season in 3 games, but we're learning a lot from this season anyway. But we need to make sure we close this season in a way where we go over the goal lines. We need to have good 3 games, good training weeks, and make sure we somehow get some points, hopefully get some wins, so we can go to the summer break with a better feeling, and also make sure we fix everything that we need to fix to look better next season.
And of course, just from all of this, you kind of get natural questions about kind of managers, especially in WSL this season. Do you still feel supported by Spurs in general?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's obviously a pressure on coaches, and if you look at this league and how many coaches has been fired this season, it's always a topic. But I think what I feel and what I hear from the board and from everybody who's around me is that we are in this journey together until we're not. And I think everybody's showing me the support, and we're trying to find ways to improve. And you can say that it's a failure this year in a way where we're not taking big steps forward, but in one way we also need to go through some tough times to get to the next level as well. So you need to look at it how you can improve, and I'm going to work really hard for this club until they say something else.
And finally, on a bit more positive note, Adam Morris on Sunday scored the first goal for the club and played really well. I noticed post-match you kind of keep praising her, but just how impressed have you been with her this season in general?
I think when we saw her last season and scouted her, we were like, yes, that's a Tottenham player. That's the kind of recruitment we want to do. Great character as well, and great physicality, and a good age to make sure she can develop to the top. She had a tough start with injuries here, because I think she would adapt it quite well already in the preseason, but she had some injuries and then some setbacks from that. But I think the consistency she's having now and the way she's taking steps, even if we are not overperforming in the games, that's very impressive actually. And I think the bravery she has, she's knocking on the door for the next step with England as well. So I think that's one of the highlights this season, to make sure we actually have a player in that level with a long-time contract with us that we can actually invest even more in. So even if it's a tough season, she's one of the shining things this season.
Perfect. Best of luck on Sunday.
Cheers.
We'll go to Chris.
Hi Robert, hope you're well. Winless, of course, in 8. How are you feeling, and how is the squad feeling, and how do you get that confidence back within the squad when the results aren't quite there? Because I know we've spoken about a lot of positives in recent weeks, on and off the pitch, but the results aren't there at the moment. So how do you get that confidence back into the squad?
I think we started a few weeks ago with trying to find a way where we need to play better football and focusing on creating more goal chances to get ourselves to a result. We have improved. We play better. We dictate the game better. We haven't still find ways to win, which is very frustrating. And obviously, it's a big thing on me there, where I need to make sure I find even better decisions, even better tactics to make sure we get some result before we go to the break. On the other hand, we need to make sure we close this season and make sure we keep going. And I think the season is not ended yet. We have 3 more games. We have a chance to win a few games. We have a chance to show the fans and media that we are taking steps. I think the players can show some more steps, because a lot of them are going to play the Euros. So we have a lot of stuff to do anyway, even if the league is not the most fun to watch at right now. But for me, it's basically try to get the energy and make sure those players who need to be picked up, to make sure we get energy in the coaching staff in this building. And I think, the energy is everything to make sure you can get the result. Last game, when you see we are 2-0 down and we actually get back to 2-2 and almost go for the 3-2, and then we lose anyway. But you see the character of the players. You see that they still believe in what we're doing. And I think we just where we need to find some good ways to balance the defense with the offense, because we still create chances. And hopefully Liverpool can be the start of 3 good games before we go on the summer break.
Well, that was my next point I was going to make. The fact that you were 2-0 down last weekend and then came back, to draw 2-2, and then, as you just mentioned there, you went for the 3-2. Will you ever change the way that you manage games like that, where you perhaps settle for a draw rather than go for the 3-2? Because, of course, then it meant that, they got enough goal, you end up with no points.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that if you go for a low block the last 10 minutes and go for 1 point, and if you succeed, that might be, okay, that was okay. But we don't want to be that kind of team. We had the momentum to actually score more goals. I think we actually had the chances before that goal. So it was not like we went crazy. We didn't put everything up there. We played our normal style, and we were back from 2-2 and kept going the way we want to do. So it was not like we were pushing a bottom to keep going even more. You can definitely push the bottom to stop attacking. But on the other hand, I want to develop this team to be a machine that want to attack and score goals and be brave. And then if I say to be unbrave and just try to protect a draw just because where we are, then it's like, that's not me, that's not this club. We can definitely take better decisions in the game to make sure we have a draw and go for the win. But we did that. There was more like a situation that popped up to a new situation where we did a few mistakes and they scored that goal with a clinical finish from Hansen. So it was not tactics that we considered that goal. It was not like we went too much attacking. There was a mixture of quality and decision making, I would say.
Well, I know we've spoken about the gap a lot of times before, particularly this season with the Champions League teams. Looking back at the summer transfer window, do you think you did enough? Did the club do enough to support you in what you wanted to build at the football club? Because I know when we spoke last season, you said always in your second season that you wanted to aim for that Champions League spot. This coming summer, do you expect to go even bigger because you know that gap is absolutely huge?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken before about first year to second year where we lost a few key players from first year to second year. So if you go to that summer window, I'm going to try to get better. You still need to replace those we lost, which obviously great Clinton and Celine Bissett is 2 of them. And then you also need to add even more to make sure you do it. And then we need to develop the players we have. So if you look at from first year to second year, I cannot say that we succeeded, but we have taken some really good decisions to sign Ella Morris, to sign up Eleanor Heaps, to have Olivia Holt. So if you ask me for next season, now we have players that I know that they probably going to stay here for next season that we can work with, and we have the potential in the group to take the next step. And then you always need to go to the summer transfer window and see what can we improve on, what do we need to improve on so we can compete more in the games, and who is in this squad not happy to be here and not play too much, and find a way where we balance up the squad to make sure we can take the next step next season. And that's the same with staff and the organization as well. We're getting a new CEO for this club. We had a few change of staff members in this Christmas window, which actually affected us quite much to rebuild what we're doing. So we probably need a transfer window. We need a pre-season to make sure we can come to the third season, and then we should show that we are better. Otherwise, I have failed. So if we don't show next season that we are better than year 1 and 2, then I will raise my hand and say that this is not good enough. But the second year came of different situations that happened that makes it clear that we haven't succeeded in a perfect way. But it's also quite logical depending on the first year to second year, because we needed to go through this phase as well to take the next step. So tough right now, I get it. We don't look good in the table. Fans is probably quite upset sometimes in the games, and you guys also see some stuff in it. But I can guarantee that through this year we will have some good learnings that we can use for the third year. Because we talk about patience, we talk about my extension of my contract, we talk about how we want to play. And it takes time to develop and learn that. We don't buying the 10 best players in the world and then we play this style. We are buying players with potential that are going to develop to this. And that's what I mean by patience. And if you then start not having patience, and if you don't start trying to stick to your plan, then you're just a normal training coach that just want to make sure you get some result on Sunday. And we think bigger than that. We think with an identity. We think of a long-time goal where we're going to be organic to this journey. And that's my job. That's what I'm doing. That's what the board want me to do. And I get it. Right now, it doesn't look amazing. But I'm very, very sure that it's going to look better and better and better. And we're going to reach the top through the system.
lastly from me, of course, opponents Liverpool away on Sunday. What have you made of them so far, and what sort of game are you expecting?
I mean, they changed coach. They have a few really good results and some competition games. I think they have a decent squad. On the other hand, I think every time we speak about them and where we are quite near them and they are near us. It's a game we want to make sure we are better than Liverpool. We want to show that we are the best of the rest, or what you want to call it, from the top four, and they are probably the best of the rest according to the table. So we need to make sure we start winning against them and trying to push to also in the table be better. But it's a tough game. They have some good players and they've done some good results lately.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Jacob.
Hi Robert, I hope you're well. Back in March we saw Kit Graham return to the grass for the first time since her injury. Is there any update on Kit Graham, how she is progressing and with her recovery, and will she get any minutes in the remaining few games of the season?
She's following the plan. She's very supporting for the squad, and she's now on the grass running and training on her own though. So no, it's too short time before we end this season to have her on collective training and in games, but she's taking the right steps. So what I think is that she will be ready and hopefully with the squad when we start up after the summer break. But you never know with these injuries, 1 month here, 1 month there. But the good thing is that she's in good spirit and she's looking very happy with the steps she's taking.
Thank you. It's been a difficult season for Martha Thomas, who is yet to score the WSL this season. How is she feeling, and what have you been working on with her to improve her confidence in front of goal so that she hits the ground running at the start of next season?
I mean, we have had a collectively issue with not scoring too many goals that we want. I think Bethany obviously have had some really good moments, but the rest of the squad, we need to make sure we score more goals. So we have worked quite much on getting to the goal and the goal chances, but also how to be clinical in those situations. And Martha is scoring quite many goals in training, so it's more like, when do we get this moment when she get that goal in game and the confidence is coming back. So I'm a former striker. I know exactly how she feels when you're waiting for that goal, because it means so much for a 9. But I think she works so hard for the team. She's always pushing and training hard. So it's just a matter of time before she gets that goal, and then it's going to be even more goals.
And then finally from me, on Sunday, Jessina scored her first league goal of the season since our opening day victory against Crystal Palace. How will the goal give Jess confidence in hoping that she can firstly finish the season strongly, but also secure a place in the Lionesses squad in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those we believe very much in, and she's been taking big steps since I came to this club. She had a little bit of a setback this season when we didn't perform as a team, and she didn't really nail the chances she created, and then she was a few games on the bench, but she took that so well and got back in good training. She had an assist against Leicester. She scored this goal, and actually performance as well. She was a really good 1-against-1 this game, and also against Leicester. And I think she now shows Serena why she should be in that squad. And if she just keep going this last 3 games, I think and hope that she will be in that squad, because she's a national team player, if you ask me.
Really, thank you so much for letting me good luck Sunday.
Cheers.
Freya.
Looking back at the season yet so far, from your perspective, what are maybe the positives you're still seeing in performances despite the lack of wins?
I think if you look at the overall season and how we want to look and how we want to have an identity, how we play, I think people still can see, even if we have transformed a few players and so on, that we still have an identity how we play. I still think we have a few players this season that have taken big steps that we thinking could be the players that take us to the next level. But then when you look at the whole league, and what we haven't improved on is obviously to be consistent and obviously to compete with the top teams. And perhaps last games where we haven't been able to beat the teams in around us. Last season we kind of always find a way to win against them, even if we were not amazing all the games. So it's a mixture of everything. But I think if you look at where we are, the squad we have now, the potential in it, and how we actually dare to keep being brave and play, even if we haven't won for a while, I think that shows some really good character, that the players buying into what we want to do, and they want to play this style. They want to take us to the top through this system. So now it's more about consistency and learning from from the structure of it and make sure we take the step, because we cannot be a team for 5 years that just play fun football and lose. We need to make sure we play some good football and winning more games and taking us forward.
In games like this against Liverpool, do you focus more on adapting to the opposition or rather on reinforcing your own principles of play?
We focus mostly on our own principles. Obviously, we are aware how they are in and out of possession, but the main thing to build an identity to make sure you get very strong is to use your strength to get that opponent. So we're not really going to change too much depending on what they're doing, but we're going to use the game model we have and make sure we maximize what we can do according to what they are doing when they're defending and so on. So, and I'm a big fan of not adapting too much against the opponent, especially if it's not the top four. So we're going to focus a lot on how we want to score goals and how we want to press high and how we're going to try to win this game.
Will we see any changes in the squad, maybe to freshen things up or to provide a different approach, or will it stay the same mostly?
I mean, we have 2 suspensions in the team, so it will definitely be 2 new players coming in. And then there's a few positions we have good competition, so it will be a new starting 11. But it will also be a good chance. We're going to pick the starting 11 tomorrow, so we had a good training today to find a way for the starting 11 to start the game, but also for the bench to make sure they can come in and do some good performances, because it's quite many games we're actually having the players on the bench coming on and giving us some energy, like last game as well. So it's not only the starting 11 who is the key thing here is actually the whole squad.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned training and players stepping up. Are there any players you feel have stepped up in training recently that could be a key in turning things around?
I think we have a lot of players back from injuries, and the last month we have been, full squad basically, except 1 or 2 small injuries. So we have the numbers for training, so we can compete, and we have the players trying to push for the starting 11. I think it's been more and more competition about the spots. But then obviously when you lose game, then it takes a day or 2 before you're back again and pushing for the next game. So it's a mixture, but I definitely see some improvement in the behaviors and the competition in the team.
Thank you, Robert. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Hey, Robert. We spoke after the game on Sunday about the impact that England had when she came on. It very quickly turned from 2-0 to 2-2. Have you seen more of that kind of impact she can have on the squad in training this week, and will she be able to start against Liverpool on Sunday?
I think with all the players with great leadership, they have a big impact on the squad. So even if she didn't do an assist or goal, she have an impact when she's in the squad or on the pitch. She trained well this week. She didn't have any setbacks from those minutes, so she probably can take more minutes this game. That is a mixture of how many minutes and if it's able to start her or actually bring her on. So that's the decision for tomorrow to take. But she will definitely be in the squad and definitely be on the pitch the minutes she can, because she's that good. So you want to maximize the minutes you get with her. I also think she want to come back and score a few more goals before we go to the summer break, because she's really determined to show who she is. And I think, who knows? There's the Euros coming up, and I think the form she had before she got an injury, who knows if she score a few goals and show that character here. It's never too late to get back in the national team, right?
Well, you tell me, do you think she can get back in with Serena Dean? We haven't seen much of her. Jess Naz has gone to the Finalist, but we haven't seen much from Beth England. Even though she's one of the WSL's top scorers, even having missed a few games. Do you think with a few more goals these last 3 games, you can see her get back into that Lioness squad?
I know that she came in late for the World Cup, right, after not being in for a while. And I know as a coach, you want to find the right characters for your team. And if she's keep performing and getting back to that shape, and they don't really have that squad to go, of course she have a chance. But she haven't been in for a while, so I don't want to make that pressure that she should be. But I definitely think she should be one of the considerers if she perform and get back fully fit. But I'm just happy to have her in my team and make sure I can use her now.
Because you mentioned that in the Villa game you thought, even though she didn't score, Martha Thomas did a really good job of tiring their defenders, and that then left it open for the people that came off the bench to get those goals back. Do you think that would be the way we see things set up on Sunday?
I think it's 2 different ways, and that's the decision we need to take tomorrow. Do you want to start with Beth in England and have her impact directly and then maximize the minutes you have? Or do you want to start with Martha and using her moments and her strength and then bringing Beth in? And that's it's not decided yet. It's going to be decided tomorrow, but that's the two options I'm thinking about.
And obviously the two big gaps in midfield with Evelina Suleiman and Drew Spence, who I know you really like their physical presence in the midfield, and that's something that's really important against Liverpool. How are you going to compensate for missing them both in the same game? You know, Maja Ores has lots of skills, but she's not the most physical player. How are you going to bulk up that midfield in the absence of those two?
No, we are aware what kind of players who's not able. So we have a plan for that, but you will see that on Sunday.